Welcome to Zambition, the channel on which we engage in dialogue with leaders from across sectors and generations. Greetings and welcome to Zambition. My name is Martin Kalungubanda, your host on this channel. This week, I have the privilege of being in dialogue with a young man whose work, whose spirit, his ways of doing things inspire me a lot. His name is Julius Luwaya. Julius holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in environmental education from the University of Zambia. He also has a certificate from the Presencing Institute in facilitating profound change. Upon graduating from the University of Zambia, Julius chose not to look for the traditional formal employment. He decided to work with others to create what is now known in Lusaka as Impact Hub Lusaka. Impact Hub Lusaka is a member of the global network of entrepreneurs covering more than 56 countries. And Julius now focuses on business development, having established the institution that is doing many wonderful things in Lusaka and beyond. He is also the national coordinator for Accelerate 2030 Zambia, a program that has the largest number, it's part of the global program of private sector collaboration with social and business entrepreneurs in the effort to try and realize the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Julius, welcome to Zambition.
Thank you, Martin, for hosting me. It's an honor and privilege to be invited to be part of this program that hosts great minds and people who have done amazing things. So just being invited to be part of the series and this dialogue, I think it's an honor to me, and also I'm happy to be given an opportunity to share my story.
You're welcome. Julius, what is your personal journey that has led you to where you are today and who you are? Could you let us in on your background, your folks, and any other essential information you feel will help us to know you a little bit more?
So my journey begins in Solwezi, where I was born, and where I grew up with my parents until mom left us in 2003. I was then in care of my sister, who took care of me until I was able to go to the university in 2011. And looking at the way I was raised, somehow I would say I got used to family meetings or dialogue, as we may call it, at an early age. So in my sister's home, her husband, who is my brother-in-law, somehow he had the policy of not beating children when they did something wrong. He believes in calling everyone and then have what you call a family meeting. So when you just see everyone seated, just know that there's something or someone has done something wrong. And that would apply to everyone. So if it is 2 or 3 people who have done something wrong, But not to put anyone to shame, you have to interrogate everyone, including those who have not who've not done anything wrong at that time. They will have to be interrogated. If it's something to do with your education, your results will be talked about. If it is about doing chores. So somehow I got exposed to doing meetings or being part of dialogue at an early stage. And that somehow started forming my image without me knowing. And the other thing is he would buy the Post newspaper then, and then he'd give you and leave the newspaper and say, when I come back, I want you to share something from the newspaper. So you'll be forced to read. The other thing, he wants you to be at home at 18 hours. You just say, you just tell that I will be coming at 19 hours. When I come, you should tell me the headlines of the news. So you'll be forced to go home early. You'll be forced to listen to news. And this somehow started forming the image who I am today. In this, someone who is alert to being a leader naturally. So in whichever context I find myself, somehow I find myself having the ability to lead or being given the opportunity by others to lead. So this somehow has contributed to being who I am. And when I went to the university, in my second year, I volunteered to be part of the student association, and that was like the popcorn. It just popped and opportunities started opening up until I went to being a commissioner in the University of Zambia Student Union Electoral Commission. So I was a commissioner for elections, and while serving as an elections commissioner, I went on to serve in 6 big, what I would call big student elections, because these are elections which attracted over 1,000 voters. And in the process, I managed 2. One was at the School of Education. The other was under the Electoral Commission. The chairperson by then, Phil Cholamoya, he did give me the opportunity to lead one of the elections. So basically, that's what has mainly formed my image. Mainly it is about where I come from and how I was raised up. Reflecting on it, I do realize that that played a big role to shaping who I am.
And I do remember we met a few years ago when you invited me as a student then to come and speak to your fellow students at the University of Zambia. So convening spaces for thinking and reflecting together has a background you have described. Thank you for sharing that. Julius, what made you decide to study environmental education? And by the way, this is the month, November 2021 of COP26. How were you attracted to this subject?
My sister wanted me to be a nurse. My brother-in-law wanted me to be a teacher. I didn't want to become a teacher. I didn't want to become a nurse. So, and then my sister didn't want me to go in the School of Natural Resources, which is NS, where a lot of people fail in first year. So I was just looking for a course that would allow me to get in the university, School of Education, and then I want to become a teacher. And I had 2 options, whether it was either I choose environmental education or I choose what they call this, library and information studies. And then I chose environmental education. But before this decision was made, I had an idea of what environmental education was, because my friend's elder sister at the time, she was doing environmental education. So that somehow was the point where the influence started from. And I ended up choosing environmental education. And I was good at geography in high school. So I thought it would be just, it will make a natural connection. So I ended up choosing environmental education. And before going to the university, I started doing some basic reading here and there. And when I was at the university, I became a good average student.
And tell me, I just want to explore this a little bit. You didn't want to become a teacher. neither did you want to become a nurse. Anything wrong with these two fields?
Well, I wanted diversity. Nurse, because I don't like the hospital. I can't stand blood or looking at people are injured and everything. Not that I do not care, but maybe I'm not brave enough to look at that. But I can support in any other capacity. But sometimes, as they say, you can't outrun destiny. Somehow, the work that I do has to push me back to being in a position of teaching or guiding people. I may not stand in front of a classroom and guide learners, but in what I do, I still retain the role of a teacher or a facilitator. So somehow the running didn't work because I have still retained the role of being a guide to others.
Thank you. And what image or object best describes who you are, Julius?
I don't know how conversant you are with football, not the current Zambia national team, but maybe the other one, like 5 or 8 years ago. There's a player, Nathan Sinkala. So he's a midfielder. When he's playing, you can underestimate his presence, but when he's out, that's when you get to miss him. So for me, that's the role that I play. And I operate very well when I'm given a role that is close to a person who is leading. That way I play at my maximum capacity or ability. So I do see myself as a midfielder. I'm a guy who is there to coordinate things, to connect people. And this is something I learned from you in that I have to know what person A does and what person B does, so that I know who to connect to who to introduce to who. So that's the role that I play. So I'm the guy who is more of a midfielder. I need to coordinate.
And yet, Julius, when you graduated, you decided to become a pioneer. You did not follow mainstream populist thoughts. You graduate, look for a big job, an important job. You graduated from the University of Zambia and you set out to set up your own business. I know that for over 2 years, you labored to establish Impact Hub Lusaka. What is it that gives you the capacity to blank out mainstream thinking and follow your own path or ways?
I have the luxury of time. Looking at my life as a tool that I can use to create prototypes, I decided to go that route. Today, I'm 29. When the idea of starting the business, I was 23 at the time, about to graduate. I had the luxury of time. So it's more of doing prototypes, fail fast to win fast or to achieve your positive results fast. So for me, it was more of how can I shape myself into this container of change, effecting change that would benefit me as an individual, but yet at the same time, also giving opportunities to others. So I had the luxury of time, and it has worked out in that I was willing to sacrifice my time, because when you are young, you have the luxury of doing certain things that you can't do when you are at a certain age. I'm sure you can't take the job of being an intern, even at UN. Because
now you are revealing my age. If you just say that I'm too old for certain jobs, you might be right. Go on, Julius.
Yes. So for me, that inspired me to go the route that I took. And the other thing is, I think, association. In my circle, I'm privileged enough to have friends who are doing incredible things. And just like bad habits, good vibes are also contagious. So for me, this allowed me to be inspired enough to say, if these friends of mine are able to do a BCD, how about myself? They eat the same nshima like I do. It's not as if the nshima they eat come from Mars or elsewhere. It still comes from within. So like, I can be I can do what they are doing. And it worked out for me in that I was willing to take the sacrifice. And I might say that it wasn't a smooth journey, just like prototyping, a lot of experimentation here and there. And I'm just happy that it worked, and I've learned a lot, and I've become a better person in the process.
I like your line. Just like bad ones, good vibes are or can be contagious. And Julius, then you took on a responsibility to establish Impact Hub Lusaka, a global brand with many conditions for localizing it. Where did you get the inspiration and energy to do that? And by the way, before you answer that question, what is Impact Hub Lusaka?
So in simpler terms, Impact Hub Lusaka is a social innovation hub that works to support entrepreneurs and social innovators who are working to effect change by creating jobs and also creating impact in their communities. And we are part of the global network that spans across 100+ cities globally. So collectively, we form this global community of agents of change working on two fronts. One is that of entrepreneurship, the other is that of social innovation. And what made me to start or to lead, when you make yourself available for leadership, certain opportunities knock on your door. And for me, at that point, it wasn't about my CV, but rather it was about my character, my image, and my energy. So that's how I was able to be given that opportunity to lead my team in establishing Impact Hub. But also, at the time, there had been attempts to open or to bring Impact Hub brand to Zambia, and those who attempted to do so thought it wasn't worth it to pursue that route. So I thought there was an opportunity, and seeing the people who had initially attempted to bring the brand to Zambia, I thought if these people were willing to bring this brand to Zambia, it means there's something here. So I took it upon myself and the team to just do some further investigation, and we thought it was the right container we could use to drive the change that we needed. And I made it my business day and night, waking up, thinking about Impact Hub Lusaka until we got the license in September. I remember the day, 3rd September 2018.
And once again, congratulations. In your work as both the inaugural CEO of Impact Hub Lusaka and now as business development lead, what is the one program you are most proud of? I know there are many, but what is the one program that Impact Hub has done that gives you the sense it was worth a while to slave, to work, to establish this organization in Zambia?
First of all, I would say the entire thing or the entire institution, I'm proud of what it has become. You ask me to choose among my children, I can't do that. You can't point to one and say that that was my favorite. But just for me, we have announced ourselves as a supporter to entrepreneurs. So seeing programs such as Accelerate 2030, which focuses on helping entrepreneurs who want to implement initiatives focusing on SDGs, is something which is amazing. Seeing a program like Climate Launchpad, a green business ideas competition, bringing young people with credible ideas together to be guided. And by the way, one of the people who were guiding under this program went on to win the second prize at global level. Out of the 55 countries that were participating, Zambia got the second prize through this entrepreneur.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful news. And in what made that entrepreneur from Zambia win the second prize of a global program? What was she doing? What does she do?
So this entrepreneur who got the second prize has come up with a method of creating organic feed or feed for animals from insects. So this is an innovative way of reducing the ecological footprint in that it uses sustainable way because everything is organic. So these insects are grown from scratch and they are later on converted into feed. So when you look at the entire process, it uses less materials or resources that would be that would be detrimental to the environment. So there is less degradation in the process. And the way she just presents the idea in terms of environmental impact and also business sense, it is something that is incredible and it was able to compete at a global stage.
Congratulations. And is her name a secret, or you can reveal who this second global winner is?
So, the name of the business is called Etomo Farm, and her name is Priscilla Msenge.
Priscilla Msenge, innovator, founder of Entomo Farm.
Yes, yes. So she is the founder and CEO of the startup that she leads. So seeing people like her coming through our hub and achieving such incredible results on the global stage is something that get to inspire us. Apart from her, there are others who have won national awards. We started as a dream, or which was just a sheer story, has come to achieve this result is something which I'm very proud of. And it has somehow given me the credibility in that if I started something today, chances that people would want to follow me are high because Impact Hub then comes out as the track record or the proved track record with positive results.
I truly hope you get the chance to meet with the Minister for the newly created Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Mr. Collins Nzovu, and his Permanent Secretary, Mr. John Msmuko. Both people I have found to be truly visionary and committed to a greener future of Zambia. I hope you get the chance to meet with them and share how you are driving the SDGs through Impact Hub Lusaka.
It will be an honor, and I look forward because when you look at our country, Zambia, there are quite a lot of green enterprising opportunities that we have that we can take advantage of. We have an opportunity here to take advantage of our forests and also green or safer practices to create jobs that are going to be sustainable and last a little longer. So having that opportunity, I would definitely share my views and also how best we can support initiatives and entrepreneurs who are operating in the green space.
Julius, what is your ambition?
My ambition for me is to see seeing Zambia continue the journey which it has already started. That is in the business sense, making business easy or cheaper to do, and also having entrepreneurs or startups having certain breaks, maybe tax break, or maybe in future it could be also be good if we can have a startup policy, intentionally created to protect the interests of startups. That would be something which that would make me happy, because sometimes people would want to start, but then we have these rules which apply to everyone, whether you are big or small. So if we can have that, for me, that will be incredible, because then the many youths that you have are going to find it easy to establish themselves either as solopreneurs or just startups. So for me, that's something which I would like to see, having a very good, conducive business environment, whether we are talking about the agriculture sector, the green economy, whichever, as long as the environment is just conducive and it is encouraging, and it is also cheaper for young people to start the business.
I'm pretty sure you speak with a lot of authority, you yourself just having started something that never was, Impact Hub Lusaka. You speak with authority also because you are constantly working with young people whose dreams sometimes get smothered because the environment is not conducive enough. I'm pretty sure in Zambia now, we have such a strong positive vibe, and our leaders look like they are accessible and able to listen to new ideas. Your thoughts about Zambia creating an environment which allows small beginnings to germinate and thrive will give you access to chat with them. My final question, Julius, is what is, among many, the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
A lot of people have advised me, but this one, somehow I still keep on remembering it. So you do not lose anything by being good to people. So you just have to be good to people, regardless of what happens. You don't lose anything. So I try in my own little or few ways to be good to people, because when you are good to someone or you render your service, it does not reduce your abilities. If you know how to do something, even if you do it for free, it doesn't mean that when you are done doing it for free, you're going to forget how to do it or the skill will disappear. You will still retain your skill. And that in the process somehow allows me to accommodate others when they reach out to me. Being a young person, there are certain people, young people would want to access help from, but due to exposure or confidence levels, they find it hard to approach such people. But they do have an opportunity of approaching a young co-founder of something, a young CEO of something, a young manager of something like me, and I can then recommend them for opportunities. If anything, it just allows me to sharpen my skills and understand more things, because they do not come with one question, they come with different questions. And in the process, if you ask me, I want a recommendation letter for this scholarship, for this job, so I am then forced to learn how to craft different recommendation letters. If one is going for an interview, I'm then forced to also practice or to research on how someone should position themselves for a job interview. If it is those pitching business, because I also guide people to pitch their business ideas or their businesses. So in the process, I also become a better version in terms of being a guide in helping people how to pitch their businesses. So I think following that advice has somehow helped me to shape myself into this individual who I am, who is willing to open the door and guide others. So far, I would just say that the advice has helped, and I wish I would continue on the same path of just being good to others and living in harmony with everyone. Casually, I just like saying pressure-free. I'm a pressure-free person.
Thank you very much, Julius. You do not lose anything or you do not become less by being good to other people. I must say, I am a big admirer of your determination, your focus, your capacity to look in a different direction when it's fashionable for most people to look in one direction. Thank you for the work you are doing at Impact Hub Lusaka. Thank you for the inspiration you are bringing, not only to people of your age, but also other people like myself.
Thank you very much for being invited to be part of this dialogue. I've also enjoyed being part of this conversation. It has also helped me to reflect on who I am, where I come from, and possibly where I'm going. Thank you very much for being hosted.
Having listened to the dialogue and followed my conversation with our guest, I now invite you to look at the drawing that emerged out of that dialogue. Take time to see the contours, the colors, the images that are reflected on the painting, on the drawing. And pay attention to what the drawing evokes in you. What are the feelings? What are the thoughts that are ignited by you looking at the painting? What thoughts does the painting generate in you with regard to your own leadership? What thoughts, feelings, and images does this painting evoke in you with regard to the future of our country? What else does this painting make you think and feel? Kindly share your reflections on this channel so that we can continue the dialogue on the future of the country we all love, on the future of our nation. Thank you.